That one was pretty Christmas carol-y that time.
Christmas
I mean?
carol-y.
Yeah, it was kind of
Yeah,
the what's that song called?
Oh, you know what?
And
That
it
is
has bells in it, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
no, I was thinking first when you said Christmas Carol, I was thinking the Charles Dickens like TV thing. You're talking about Carol of the Bells, and for some reason, also when you did dun 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 dun, dun I first thought of like whatever Duel of Fates from Star Wars is. I can't think of the melody right now. Don't worry.
Oh wow, that's you know what? That's not allowed on this podcast though. Because we can't talk about Star Wars because we are pirates, which is obviously the opposite of space samurais.
I'm gonna disobey my orders later, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's because you know what? You know why we're all about pirates here? Because we are the Grand Line Tourist Podcast.
What?
A One Piece chapter by chapter examining or re-examining, depending on who you are, of Ichiro Oda's One Piece. Yes, that's what we are. Yes. I am your tour guide through this adventure, through the One Piece world, Eric Vu, and next to me is the guy, the guy that don't give him a big head. We're not trying to give him a big head here. We may have named the podcast after what he is, but I'll let him explain himself.
Me. I am your, clearly most selfless, servile, attentive. Any other adjective that makes you think that's a good guy. Like, he's a good guy. He can join my crew. Knock him off. All right, I am Jacob Jarecki, your titular tourist. Ha-ha! I think we got to do this every time, this kind of intro.
I'm proud of you for, using the word Nakama, but I'm so mad that you put it in a sentence that gave you so much credit.
Oh yeah, it's also really bad that I'm only using it based off having heard you use it. So my pure understanding of the word is from you. So that can give you some credit back. You can take credit for all that. See, that's me being selfless again. I like it.
That's you learning on the tour that I have planned out for us.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We must have an itinerary for today, right? We've got to learn more, right?
We do. And today we are talking about Chapter 9. Femme Fatale, which you did mention the term in our last episode, which I thought was...
It's a classic term.
It was pretty funny. But, it's pretty cool. I thought it was that's a foreshadow. I don't know if people noticed, but that's an Ichiro Oda foreshadow if I've ever seen one. Anyways, what happens in this chapter? We start off. Nami, she steals treasure from pirates. Luffy... He's not, he's like, I'd rather not be with that.
That's kind of not his MO, right?
Right. Why would I be with that? I got my own things to do. Nami, first question Nami has is, why is your hat so important, Luffy? And Luffy's like, that's my own reason. It's my treasure. It's my treasure. And she doesn't really get that. To her, treasure is always monetary, some sort of gain, So she does have that sort of, they have that very interesting thing at that moment there. We cut to, we see... Finally, in this chapter, we've been hearing him from last chapter. We see him now. We see Buggy the Pirate. The fearsome Buggy the Pirate. Who apparently looks like a clown. Yes. And he looks like a clown, and I wrote it down here, after some miscommunications, get it? Rather than miscommunications. It's a very terrible pun, but just like Buggy, he heard puns when puns don't exist, and he blew a guy up for that. So.
Oh yeah, I see why I see why you invented that term. For a second there, I'm just like, this is where me and Eric just have to go our separate ways. We can't do podcasts together anymore. I get it though. I remember that moment.
Yes,
nice.
We are introduced to Buggy, who is trigger happy, like Nami calls him later. He's trigger happy. He shoots people, and he's also, for whatever reason, he gets very offended by his looks. And you know what, dude? You decided to look like a clown, so I feel like you're giving yourself reasons to fight people.
I don't know his dark, deep, tragic backstory. Maybe he didn't decide to look like a clown. Maybe that's his permanent face, the way he was born, Eric. This is a weird One Piece world. I think we make a lot of assumptions.
We cut back to Nami and Luffy talking in an abandoned house, which Nami did later on to establish that, in this house, there's nobody who is in X amount of radius of the tavern, because that's where Buggy the Clown is hanging out. And then we get a little bit of character development here where Nami explains her backstory. I like to steal from pirates because, you know what? Pirates, they have money, and I need to get 100 million berries to buy back an island. And Luffy's like, that's a lot of money. And then she still wants Luffy to join. Luffy goes, hey, why don't you join me? I'm trying to get to the Grand Line too, because Nami states, if I get to the Grand Line, I can steal more gold and therefore earn my 1 million berries. And Luffy's like, you can join me because me and my pirate crew need a navigator. And she goes, no. I don't.
Just the back and forth between these two. Like, you
Yes.
join me? No. Can I join you? No.
No, exactly.
Jesus.
And Nami says, no, I hate pirates. I'll never be a pirate. And therefore, she decides, I hate pirates, and I'm going to trick this dumb butt to go, for my own personal gain, I'm going to go turn him in to Buggy, and therefore double-cross Buggy by acting like I'm going to join Buggy. Therefore, I can go behind his back and steal his stuff from behind. And
I never thought about how complicated it was. It's pretty, she's in it. She's in it.
She's trying to do some Ocean 11 stuff of, like, level of trickery here.
Yeah, but Ocean's 1, it's pretty wild.
Ocean's 1, which still works because pirates they're on the ocean. So this it wraps around. Let Soderbergh know we're in it, man.
Yes.
This chapter ends with Luffy being thrown in a cage because he is deceived by Nami, and then Zoro showing up on this island with his 3 little slaves because they're idiots and trying to rob him. Yeah.
Very well told. That was an exciting itinerary. I am super excited for our voyage today.
Yeah, I felt pretty good about that. That was a lot of fun. We got a lot of back and forth. We had a little Nami Luffy moment instead, but like not as much conflict. I felt.
Yeah, and there was no mention of tangerines.
No, yes, random mentions of tangerines, which we will get to because. But
we'll
later.
get to those. That's later. Right now, I'm gonna hop in real quick, and I'm gonna steal the first bit of this podcast because I want to immediately break the rule that I said I was gonna break and say I'm gonna talk a little bit about Star Wars. I think Buggy the Clown, it's got like a Darth Vader vibe going on. He can force grip people. He ate some devil fruit, and he can levitate a pirate with his hands, causing them to choke, and then fire a gigantic cannonball at him. And I just wanted to mention those Darth Vader vibes, immediately pay off what I said earlier, and actually maybe ask you a little bit of what you think of Buggy the Clown in his intro. He's very foreboding and menacing and dark.
You played right into my trap. You played into my trap card, man.
Yes.
Because I wanted my first point was to talk about Buggy the Clown.
All right.
Yes, Buggy the Clown is the. You definitely, off the bat, you get, like, Joker vibes, right? Because the way he's kind of drawn, he's menaced. He's our... Oda does this thing where the first time you meet when you get introduced to the villain of the arc, he gets, like, a really cool, like, very cool, menacing, like, title box and, like, intro stuff, right? So this is a really cool moment for him. What I think of Buggy overall, I remember when I watched this arc not being super impressed by Buggy, but rereading it now and seeing, I don't know if I would say the word is nuance, but I'm at least curious to see how my reread of this arc goes.
Okay.
If that makes any sense. But my first feel of it, which I'm interested to compare with you, was when the first time I saw Buggy, I was like, eh. I actually was more towards the dislike section part of it, and I was a little tired of seeing him in the duration of this arc. But to get to you, what was your first impression of our boy here?
I thought it was pretty cool. I definitely appreciate his lead up and splash. He might be one of my favorites as far as having a pose. Like, he's just like got a certain amount of swagger that kind of like goes against what you'd expect from a clown, and the way he's introduced, at least when he's like just, he's got that King Joffrey, I'm sitting on the Iron Throne sort of look to him, right?
Yes.
That I thought was like almost I think intentionally clashing with this fact that he's a clown. Like, I think it was a bit. I want to say Ichiro might have just challenged himself. He wanted to say, you know what's not scary? Well, people won't agree with this.
That's a lie.
But that is a lie. That is a lie. But you know what? On the face of it, can look pretty silly. Clowns can look silly.
Yes.
And I just want to say, I think he took it in a unique way. Like, this doesn't strike... I mean, although, of course, you can't get away from, like, thinking about the Joker and that sort of thing, but it just, as a pirate, it's got a different feel to it, and I really appreciated it. And I also really appreciate... I think he's done this, I think, with each of his villains so far. In addition to that splash page, sometimes you usually get, like, a close-up on their face, kind of talking, like maybe in one panel, which just kind of like sets this foreboding, like, there's our bad guy talking, and then boom, then you finally see them in scale in the world. So this worked perfect for me. I think so far, I think he's my favorite villain, of One Piece.
Yeah,
we don't have tons to choose from, but he's up there. Someone's gonna have to dethrone him eventually. Is what I'm saying.
Yes, you're saying that he's better than Axe Hand Morgan and
right.
Iron Mace Alvida.
I think so. Yeah, no, and I mean Axe Hand Morgan's pretty cool. Still, I feel like it's an accomplishment. Good on you, true. Buggy the Clown. Good on you.
Hey, it's interesting that Nami calls him like a trigger happy like buccaneer, right? Because okay, everything about this guy is clown themed. Like his, we didn't mention it, but last chapter we gotta look at his ship, which was a circus tent, right? Like it looks like a circus tent. That's the design of his ship. And then he himself has dressed himself up as a clown, and like he's a clown. But then this is the same guy who gets mad when he hears. And I was gonna ask you if you think this was like an actual translation joke, or if this like I wonder if the joke was different in Japan as it is here, but. He hears
the pun,
He hears from his like minion who says the robber who's explaining how Nami stole the Grand Line map from them, and he says the robber knows that we kept the map in there. It's probably the end of the sentence. He doesn't get to finish it because automatically Buggy goes, "Robber knows," right? It is so. It goes to like, in my opinion, after especially re-examining him now. I think he likes getting into fights. Like, I think he purposely sets him up in a situation where it doesn't matter what you say. You're gonna somehow end up talking about his nose, right? You're gonna end up talking about that he's a clown, and to me, it's like the question of, does he get into fights because he looks like a clown, or is he a clown because he likes to get into fights?
Very interesting. No, you know what? I like this read better. Like, because it actually makes a lot of sense. Because, like, it feels like the level of connection that Buggy the Clown is pulling to make these puns to, like, have a reason to be angry at this guy is a little ridiculous. So, yeah, it's almost like this is an example where I don't know if I was to see it in motion in, like, a voice acted sort of way. It would be interesting to see this pulled off. Because I can totally see someone pulling off, like, oh, no, Buggy actually just is going into this conversation wanting to murder something, and like that is a totally different feel than what I initially got when I read this, you know, because I kind of just I didn't quite get that vibe, and I wasn't reading into it that way, but it's pretty cool. I think that makes him even more menacing, really, like as a character.
Yeah, and I think that's what they're trying to establish, but that's what my feel of it was, and because I just couldn't get past the fact of like, if you don't like people making fun of you, why would you actively choose to be a clown? And then once you start trying to justify that, you're like, oh, this guy's a little insane. He wants to shoot people.
Nah, he wants the reason. I like it. No, that sounds like a cooler reason than just, you know, he's a clown and therefore this happens. I like, that little turn is a brilliant piece of work, my friend.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and I'm excited to see, knowing that, maybe keeping that in mind too. And that's why I'm like turning just even a little bit from my initial, like, I don't know, back in my 2010 reading of Buggy. I think this is like, maybe I'll come into this angle reading this next arc in that capacity.
No, because I'm going to keep an eye out for when does he get triggered? And like, does that immediately result in someone's force grip followed by death?
What do you, anything else you thought about Buggy here at all? Well, at least in this brief little, it's not even that much. Like what, 2 pages, 3 pages?
No, not too much. I think the fact that his preferred method of murder is to, suspend someone and launch a cannonball at them is appropriately ridiculous and extremely silly and frightening. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, I think what this has to do to the mental state of the other crew members is a level above what Axan Morgan was doing. Like, you just strike someone down, right? You did something wrong. You're like, you're just getting beheaded, guillotined. It feels like, you did something wrong, right? This is like, I want to make a show of it. You're going to be gasping and screaming, and the other crew is going to like light a cannonball and throw it at you. That's rough. That's rough stuff.
I also, just listening to what you just said there, that explains why the townspeople ran away from like a 10-yard radius of this place, because he's shooting things.
Yeah.
It's not just him like causing a ruckus at the tavern. He's like literally blowing things up at any reason or whim, or like because he's bored. So like it's not safe to be in a cannonball radius of this man. Right? Like, and that's a pretty big radius. Wow. So cool. Look at that. Guys, don't say that our podcast doesn't provide like some deep dive analysis. Cannonball radius. I figured it out.
That's why I actually asked Eric if we could do this podcast remote, because I think he's been getting a little too into Buggy the Clown myself, and so I wanted a couple cannonball radiuses between us before we do this one.
That's fair. I did go out of my way to purchase a cannonball shooter, which is just probably
Eric, can you just remove the rubber nose right now? I mean, come on. I mean,
no, it's part of me. This is me now.
No.
I am the nose is me. All right, let's move on before this gets a lot weirder and I start talking about what the nose talks to me about in the night. No. Nami Part 2 is what I'm calling the next section.
All right.
What do you think of her now that we're getting a little peek behind the curtain, behind the tangerine-colored curtains of Nami's backstory?
Although it may belong in the OP's Got Jokes section, I think just because you mentioned it there again, we got to call out the fact that she says she only loves two things, which is money and tangerines, right?
Yep.
And the money one is a really interesting way to have a character have a goal, especially since she has a specific number that she's going for. I think we're clearly being laid into some possible backstory for, I don't know what village she wants to buy, but there's a serious reason she wants to buy this village. And I think we talked last episode about how the name of this arc is Orange Town.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I'm really just putting this together right now, but this is my tinfoil hat prediction time.
Ooh.
Jacob's prediction corner. If this arc is called Orange Town and we have a character that loves tangerines, are we gonna see some? Is this an area that grows oranges? Is gonna be orange trees everywhere? And this is I think one of my weaker predictions, but I'm sticking with it. I'm sticking with it.
Wait, your prediction is that there's going to be oranges?
There's going to be some oranges in Orange Town. It's not for the color of the city. It's for the fruit that the city has chosen to be as its main export.
Oh, wow. Okay, we're talking some civilization stuff here now. Okay, so you're saying that this is...
I got too sidetracked. That's a silly prediction.
You gotta keep it.
Two.
You've already named it. You already named it. You put it. You wear your tinfoil hat.
I'm putting it into the Google Doc right now.
Okay.
But we'll see if it pays off. And maybe when I get 5 predictions, I can cash them in for something. Dear tour guide. What? No. What am I even making these for then?
For the bragging rights to say that you got it right.
Okay. Well, that's good. As long as you'll give me a little nod, oh, he got the bragging rights.
I'll give you a very anime senpai recognizing you nod
All right.
Yeah, dude.
Very good.
No, but one day you're gonna get that
as far as I don't get it now, but one day I will. I saw the nod though. It looked pretty cool. It looked cool, everybody. I can promise you that. Nami Part 2.
Yes.
She's getting more interesting. She has this backstory, and the back and forth between her and Luffy is kind of cute here. Basically, they both don't want to join each other's crew for different reasons. And I thought it was just very clever, very interesting. And then ultimately, Nami just, pulls a fast one on Luffy. So I like her as kind of being this rogue element. It's becoming kind of her character. And so I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I think on this reread, I was surprised about how much she said and how much of it is just kind of just laid out. It does seem a very right?
Hey, you. Well, yeah. Okay, why are you in this story? Tell me how many berries you need and how far are you so far in your journey? Right. How many do you have?
Yeah, it's straight up question for you. What are 2 things you love in this world? I got you. Tangerines and money. Done. You know what I hate? Pirates. And I love that all of that is in almost the same panel in the same conversation. Because Luffy goes, go with me. I'm a pirate. She goes, I hate pirates and I love money and tangerines. Okay, this is where we are. This is who she is. Fun story. Nami's hair color is orange.
Oh, no. I can't tell because it's a black and white manga.
Yeah, you can't tell yet.
Wait. So you know this. Well, at some point, Ichiro may have done a color.
Yeah, he probably does a color. I don't know if the color panel is in the omnibus that I have for you, right? That you're reading.
Okay, yeah.
Because it seems to be skipping all the color pages that were released with some of these chapters.
Huh? No, that's really interesting. Because I right now, just for whatever reason, I think it's probably just because it's closest in color. I was picturing blonde, probably just because blonde and the color of the background white is just kind of close. But no, that's interesting.
Orange, yeah, orange
hair. Wow.
Yeah.
She stained it with tangerines.
Yeah.
It's dyed. It's originally blonde.
Just like flamingos, you eat tangerines, eventually your hair is going to turn a little orange.
That's right. I never knew this about flamingos. That's why
they're born gray. Oh. Wow. You see that, listeners? Don't say that I never taught you anything. They're born gray. Flamingos gray as F. And then when they start eating shrimp, They start eating shrimp. They start eating those orange things. They turn a little pink. That's it.
Well, I know what I'm going to Petco for later.
No, don't. All right. My last point about Nami is, she's vicious, man. She, at the end there, when she's like, this kid's an idiot. I know I can manipulate him. I'm gonna manipulate him, and like she double crosses him. And Luffy's like all gung ho about, you're gonna join? Awesome, man. Let me do the thing you asked me to do.
Immediately, like almost too fast. She's like, hey, I gotta get some supplies. And he's like, well, I'm already heading to Buggy. You said you want to go to Buggy. I'm there. Luffy's nothing if not dedicated.
Yes. He's very, he's like, I need to get to point A to point B. Tell me what I need to do to get to that point.
Yeah. No, that's like a weird, inspiring thing about his character that you just like, as a kid, is very exciting, I think. Getting things isn't as complicated as you think it is sometimes. You just, what do you want? How do you get there? You walk, and then you make it happen, Interesting. I like it.
All right, so last week we didn't have one, but I want to talk a little bit about a Shonen Spotlight moment here. A themes discussion. Yeah. And it is, and I think it's introduced here, and it's talked about heavily now, is the idea of one's treasure. How you define a treasure to yourself. And the big argument here, and I said, this is what I wrote. With the introduction of Nami, the navigating robber, comes a new theme for One Piece to deep dive into, which is treasure and what defines the treasures to a person or to a character. And really, what we're talking about here is in the corner of Nami is wealth, like actual tangible wealth, and then in Luffy's corner is symbolic wealth, which is his hat, because everything Nami is talking about when it comes, like she can't even comprehend a symbolic treasure. Her questions immediately to him is, are there jewels in it? Are you hiding a map somewhere in it? Like she can't, in her mind, she doesn't even know why something could be a treasure if it's not going to get you wealthier.
It's brilliant, and I'm going to just take a quick moment to take his prediction corner tinfoil time. There is a map on the hat. It's going to be revealed later.
Oh!
And it's going to lead to Shanks or to Shanks' treasure. Just a quick one getting in there. However, I just got to say, irregardless of my, inappropriately timed tinfoil time, I just need to say that you made me like that scene a lot more, because I didn't quite notice that that's what it was doing. It basically put literally a million berries or whatever against Luffy's little hat. The hat that in the last chapter you had mentioned to me that, it is, that he, don't touch my hat, right? It's not, it's the symbolic what Luffy's treasure is,
Yeah.
These memories of Shank, what it's led him to be,
Mm-hmm. Yes. Like you touching the hat is essentially that mountain bandit talking trash about Shanks in the bar. But now I can do something about it. Back then I couldn't, but now I can do something about it, which probably, I'm talking from Luffy's point of view. I personally, physically, Eric Vu, the tour guy, cannot do, and if you touch Luffy's hat, you deal with Luffy. I'm not going to come beat you up. I have no powers. I will go to jail because I'm a real person. So I won't do that.
And I may or may not provide you with some bail. I'll bring some raspberries and blueberries, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, so I think that's so crazy, and I love that thing about it now, because now Oda now is shifting pirates again. Like, why I don't need my pirates to be that. I was very happy before reading One Piece, believing that pirates really do care about treasure, and treasure's all it is. But how dare Oda take this spin on the word treasure and suddenly make me go, but do pirates feel?
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, it is, pirates are beginning, what? We're just heading in the direction of pirates being humans, being like the most relatable humans there are, It's going to be interesting as they continue.
Yeah, because now you need to ask yourself, what are these guys fighting for? What do they call treasure? If pirates, you're taking a very simple concept, a pirate loves treasure. That's a very kid concept that we know from the beginning. But now, and that's what artists are for. That's what Oda is doing, is let me tell you, young boys and girls, that treasure doesn't always necessarily have to be wealth. You could be a very rich person and but emotionally rich. That is a perfectly fine state of being emotionally rich. I wrote down having a cherished memory, which is his hat. This hat is my most treasured thing. It is one of those things. Do you have a cherished a treasure.
Do I have a personal cherished
I
treasure?
just came this up right now. I'm improvising, man.
No,
This is
I
jazz.
like this a lot. And so this is, we did. We're not gonna. We're working on a mixtape, so we're not gonna again scat for you. But
yeah, we're not. You guys aren't ready for artistic.
Legally,
freakness.
we're under contract to not do any scatting for a few weeks until the album drops. So
yes.
I'm just gonna go ahead and answer that with. It's gonna be a physical thing, right? It's got to be.
I don't think it does.
Oh no! Well, I wasn't sure. Cause it was interesting that I'm gonna actually try to take this as is there a physical thing that I have that relates to something that is like a true treasure, not just like a wealth treasure. I'm not gonna show you a certificate of a stock purchase. I'm gonna. I want to say that for me, the thing that comes to mind is a Beanie Baby that I got when I was in kindergarten that I still have, named Nip. And I think I have so many memories associated with this Beanie Baby. It has been with me for so long. And actually, to be honest, it's been one of those things that when a friend would come over, we like chuck it as if it was a tennis ball. We'd play catch with it, do all sorts of like make up worlds and stories involving this little creature.
Yeah.
As I've grown up, it's also been something that like I've hidden around like my mom's house once or twice to like just like show up as a cute thing that then made her feel happy. So it's like actually this is a very strange sort of treasure. It's maybe not as specific as Luffy to Shanks. This is more it somehow contains goodness and friendship in this small stuffed animal.
Yeah.
So that is my treasure.
Wow. Look at that.
And you know what's coming, right?
Yes, I will.
Rubber glue back at you. That's a pirate insult saying, what's your treasure, Eric?
Believe it or not, it is the Bruno Mars song Treasure featured on... No, I'm kidding. How could that be? I'm just trying to go...
Maybe you got good memories associated with that song.
Hey,
That's
that song is a banger, but it's not like... I'm not gonna... Look, if you came into my house and you're like, I'm gonna steal Bruno Mars's Treasure from your iTunes, I'm gonna be like, that's all you want? Take it.
You want to copy paste a song from my iTunes folder? Go ahead.
Mine's a little... again, like, yours is 100% right. I wouldn't even like downgrade it less than Shanks and Luffy because I think what Luffy feels about his hat. Again, this is a fictional character, so I'm making memories for this man who's a.
You're saying my real memories are actually meaningful compared to this fake guy?
But
Thank you, Eric.
Like,
that feels so validating.
But that's what it is, right? When we're talking about one's treasure, like that
Definitely.
Beanie Baby, it's everything that it encompasses. And I think for me, it's a different end. So. We're in a terrible time.
Well, I gotta skip in real quick. I remembered why it truly represents friendship.
Why?
I took Nip to show it. Man, I haven't re-brought this memory up in so long. I took Nip to show and tell. Beanie Babies, they have that tag on them. They'll tell you like their name and their backstory. Yeah. I went up to do the show and tell. Nip's tag was gone, and I was devastated. And my first kindergarten friend to be, Alec, if you're listening, hello. He came and gave me. He's like, I found this, and he handed it to me. And that's, I think, probably the start of our friendship that lasted quite a few years.
No. Really?
I did not remember that when I was telling it to you initially. I just knew that there was something associated with that. I was like, yeah, I remembered a lot of good friends. That was the initial creation of Nip representing friendship.
Wow. You need to, Alec. You need to write in. You need to write in,
Alec.
You need to write into our email, grandlinetourist.
I'm resisting saying your last name, Alec, but I'm not doing it.
Yes, resist it. He's not advertising his name like we are, but Alec, email in.
grandlinetourist at gmail.com. Yes.
Or
all right, sorry. That was totally rude. Totally worth it, but totally rude. What is your real treasure, Eric?
That was so good. Mine is, it's a little sadder, but I think it's a little heartwarming too. So my grandpa passed away during COVID, right? Because of COVID. But my dad came home and he gave me something that belonged to my grandpa, which I'm going to try and treasure for as long as I can, which is these tools that he kind of used to make. My grandpa kind of specialized in making these chairs, like these stools that you sit on, and he uses like PVC pipe and just like plastic wires and stuff that he kind of like forms and makes patterns, like cool little Hmong patterns, like Hmong American patterns, or Hmong, but I'm Hmong American, so it makes those patterns that's recognizable to my childhood, and like everyone in our family has one of these tools. My dad gave me those tools, and like that's gonna be a treasure. Right? If a robber comes in I would rather 100% make him steal Bruno Mars's treasure off my iTunes. I would give him my car before I let him steal like those tools from my grandfather, right? Like it's one of those things. Like it's all I really have left to remember him by, and it meant so much to him, and like to know that he touched these tools and used it to build things from his mind, like as a creative. Like that's one's treasure, and that's what you fight for. Yeah,
That's beautiful, Eric.
Yeah.
I mean, not to follow up too much, but like, do you think you're gonna make a chair? Is it? Or
I don't know.
Or you're just, okay, no. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it's like a thing where you're like, I don't know if it takes a lot of time. Maybe it'll be tough to build a chair with these tools, or you just want
I didn't even think about it, but I might do it.
Oh no, fair enough. I won't do a prediction corner on it, but let me know if you ever build a chair.
Let me tell you, I feel like a midlife crisis is coming in my life. I probably might get into carpentry. Who knows, man?
Very
World's
good.
weird.
Very good.
So yeah, showing a spotlight of the week. One's treasure. And I promise you, we're going to be revisiting this over and over and over again.
All right.
This is not going to be the last time, and we're going to keep hitting it over and over and over again.
I'll keep coming up with more repressed Beanie Baby stories. That was one. I don't know. Now I have no clue. How many were there? Was that just one of 20? Like, is there more? This will be interesting.
All right, Jacob. You know what's next after this? We're moving on to the place where we get
Ha ha ha. Ha 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 ha. I gotcha. We're going to go on to some One Piece got jokes. OP. Got jokes.
I like how now your laugh was kind of like of a man who just learned how to laugh to really like try to socialize with humans better. Like ha ha ha. That was humorous. Coworker,
like
that was humorous. Ha ha ha.
I like it. No. That is exactly what I was doing. It's not always easy to let out a good-natured laugh, Eric. It takes effort,
All right, Jacob, do you got a joke?
But not when reading One Piece. Yeah, I got one here. I'm gonna, we already talked about tangerines, but there's even more that, I actually, Nami was like on fire this episode, this chapter, as far as, coming out with jokes. The way she described to Buggy the Clown near the end of the chapter about why, like, he's an idiot, so I thought I'd join up with you. I had a dispute with my employer, That was the line that came before that, and I just like, that is perfect. Like, this is the person she called boss, like, for 5 minutes, right? And she has the gall to come up with this line, and I was like, oh, you're awesome. Like, this is great.
I also love how quickly, like, every man in this chapter, they're all idiots. There's no redeeming man with intelligence in this chapter whatsoever. Because for her to say that and the Buggy be like, you're in.
Yeah.
Like, not even comprehending the double cross, not even really processing the double cross. Just like, yeah, I got you. I love it.
All right, Eric, you hit me back. What do you got?
My favorite was leading up to that was the, I always carry around rope.
That I like that one too. It's actually like it doesn't almost makes not much sense as a joke, but it's just funny for some reason. Oh yeah, I always carry rope. It just the way she said it, the way we know it's clearly that Luffy's not even gonna understand what's being said.
Yes.
It's good stuff.
That's my favorite. She's like, that Luffy. He asked the question, but he wasn't really listening. Like he didn't really expect an answer out of that. He just asked it, right? Like he's just that type of guy. And then this goes back to them too. This will never stop being old for me, especially now that I'm rereading. Luffy getting lost in conversation is never gonna get old to me. The whole like in the beginning where she's like, oh yeah, he goes, is this your house? And she's like, no, it's abandoned. Everybody left. And he's like, wow. So is Nami and his guys really that scary?
That was good, yeah.
Yes. And Nami's like, I'm Nami. Buggy is the pirate that we're talking about. And he does that a few more times, right? Like, it won't stop. And then he goes, I wonder why this house is abandoned. And then she's like, I just told you. That was the start of the conversation.
Poor Luffy. Just always a few panels behind,
Yes, he's always a few panels behind. Needs to go on a T-shirt that we'll make one day when we have a following and we can sell.
No, it sounds pretty good actually. Like, yeah, I'm a few panels behind.
Do you have another one before I do my last one?
I think I just besides that, I do like later on when Luffy says, "You tricked me" to Nami. She just sticks out her tongue.
Yeah, like, real cute.
Just a yep.
Yeah, like a real cute like. You're the idiot.
That was just a simple one. That just kind of like, was cementing to me that like, oh, I love Nami in this chapter.
Yes. And I also love the fact that, like, did you not just hear me say I hate pirates? Like, did you not, like, you didn't hear any of it.
Put it together.
Yes. You physically walked into this. My last joke was we mentioned the rubber nose earlier, which
yes.
I didn't, like, okay. But what I thought was a funnier joke was when the pirate goes, wait, no, there's a mistake. And he goes, and then Buggy goes, now it's steak? I think that is really, like, it's really stupid. Like, what?
No. It's kind of like it took it far enough that it reached that like point of ridiculousness that actually makes it more fun. Because the rubber nose, you can they planted that in there, and like mistake to steak, that's just stupid. Just ridiculous. That's kind of funny.
And it tickled me, and I was like, this is really funny. And obviously, he's already decided he's killing you, man. So just stop talking.
Let it happen.
Yeah. The moment he goes, you said steak, like, you now think it's steak. It's like, wait, did you prefer the rubber? Like, I don't know what I'm saying, but it's all wrong. And that's all I got this week for OP Got the Jokes. Oh. I said no Star Wars, but then I immediately backed off it. These are Star Wars noises.
Backed off from what, Eric? What are you backing away from?
From this battle. This battle. Well, that's okay, right? I can sing.
That was good.
I can sing it. Right?
I don't know. I mean, if we ever make any money off of this, it's going straight to Lucasfilm. George Lucas gets a cut.
All right. Well, we're getting into our panel battle of our podcast, where we duke it out. We duke it out with our artistic critiques of specific panels within the chapter. Is probably the best way to describe it, right?
Yeah.
But before we jump into the actual segment, let's just talk about a little bit how you can get involved in this battle. Because this isn't a one-on-one battle. It could be an unfair shonen battle where you guys randomly jump in with your own panels. Pow, pow. And the way you do that is you write into us at where Alec is going to write into at grandlinetourist at gmail.com. You can send in your opinion, either agreeing with me, the right choice, or Jacob, the wrong choice, or Alec, the friend that you want.
He was in the middle of writing his email, and now he's adding an addendum to it so he can tell us his favorite panel. I really appreciate that, Alec. And doing it live as we talk to you is really interesting and very incredible.
He is named so much now. You do have to share this episode with him. he should almost get like featuring credit. All right, I am gonna send you my picture because you went first last time.
We are anything. I mean, no, we are petty if not anything. My panel's first this week. All right, I see the circled panel. This is the second panel of. Oh, sorry. Well, it's like it's the. Wow, that's just a bad way to start my description. It's the middle panel of the page, okay? About a third of it. And this is in the section where Buggy is getting ready to blast this poor dude to pieces. And in this panel in particular, he's not looking at Captain Buggy. Captain Buggy is not looking at, I believe, the character that he's pushing in front of the cannon right now. He's just saying, and get me my map. And he's walking away and take everything of value from this town. And we have the kaboom of the cannonball being fired. So I think this is kind of like a little bit of a, to make a modern reference, this is like cool guys walk away from explosions a little bit.
Yes.
I don't even need to look at you while I brutally murder you in front of but the crew's looking, they're watching the poor chap get destroyed by the cannonball. And a question for you, there's this stoop. Is that him walking away in this panel?
Don't know. Interesting.
Yeah, no, it's I love the panel. I'm not actually sure what that onomatopoeia is for.
It's like Oda sometimes he puts onomatopoeias in dialogue bubbles. So now you have to wonder like who's saying that. I think it's step. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's to give us maybe a little bit of reinforcement that he's walking away from this character being brutally blasted apart.
Mm-hmm. And I think
go ahead and tell me a little more.
I think just to reinforce what you said, I think either last episode or this episode earlier. No, last episode when you're talking about Nami and her design. I think this is like a foreshadow that if I had to ask you, Jacob, in this chapter, who do you think his two right-hand people are?
Oh, the two right-hand people of Buggy the Clown?
Mm-hmm.
You know, because we've been looking at this panel, I want to say it's got to be our people in this panel that are also kind of looking the same direction that he's looking a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that's what I liked about it, where it's like it's foreshadowing, like, oh, he has guys, he has boys, he has 2 boys that are very important to him because they're not talking, and they're also silhouetted in this shot, specifically in this panel. Like
it actually reminds me. I didn't actually notice them as much in this panel. I remember in the intro panel for Buggy the Clown. I think they're in there for sure. But no, this is definitely a little bit more subtle way to see them, kind of just like, but you're right, they're right-hand mans. Right-hand men. Right-hand clowns? Clownies?
Clownies.
Oh, there's clownies. No, clownies is a word, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, no, roadies? No, there's something else. I think I'm off here. But either way, fantastic choice, Eric.
Yeah, and I did the last point I want to make, that I love like the light source, like the artistry of the panel is so good. Like putting the lights, like the cannon exploding is the light source, therefore it casts a shadow on them walking back, puts them in a really cool silhouette like this. I was like, I'm in it.
This is kind of where it feels like, Buggy the Clown, almost, he's not even clown-like. He's just a pure menacing evil is what I see, Like, any hint of the jolliness of any clown sort of creature, which is kind of gone. This is a demon.
Yes. All right, should we do your panel?
Do my panel. I sent it your way.
Okay.
And I'll let you know, it is the top panel of the page you're looking at.
Oh, this is great. This is after Nami's already tied up Luffy to use him as a bartering chip to Buggy. In the panel, we see Luffy face down, tied up on the floor with the oof and a slump as Nami stands behind him in this really cool angle from the bottom up, like a bottom up shot with Nami in the background. Like this is my tribute sort of shot. And we have Buggy the Clown's like crew kind of surrounding them because she walked in really cool walking into this. Like,
this is the classic. You walk into the dragon's lair, right? And it doesn't matter. You're ready. You got your bargaining chip. You're laying it down. And you mentioned that really cool camera angle. I want to call out the little extra bit on there is that it's almost like it uses a different lens. This is like a fisheye lens angle because we got like the curving of the floor. So we can see more of all the people around. And so that was like that. I usually have a reason in particular why I love a panel. In this case, it was that fisheye lens angle from that bottom. The moment's cool as well, and of course that plays into it. But the use of that camera angle just was like, wow. I just for the art style that Ichiro Oda has, it feels like it doesn't need to be so well crafted to work. Like, it feels like he could get away with, I don't need to do some weird forced perspective here to make us see more characters. We could just see Luffy's face on the ground. That'd be fine. It's not enough for him. Yeah. He's an artist, Eric.
Because he's an artist, yes.
Yeah. No, so I thought that was lovely. I really like this panel.
Oh, that's a lovely panel, too. All of this. Oh, we're so good. We're so good at this job that we've given ourselves.
Yeah, no, you may have not known this, folks. If you want to get a job doing something you're really good at, make it up and do it.
That's our advice.
I want to say, oh yeah. Our pay is. I'm getting paid, Eric. Right? Like this is the week that I get paid for this.
Huh?
This is week 1 of my
my
401. Oh, good. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you know what? Why don't you do me a big favor and just go ahead and fax this sheet. This is gonna get you your pay. Yeah, go ahead and just fax.
All right, it's this one here with all my identity information on it. It's got my name, my
make sure your social
passport photo.
Yeah.
Oh, I got that twice. It's
Okay, cool. Awesome.
Top and bottom.
The PIN number and the bank that you bank at. That'd be great. Yeah. Just to make sure that
I'm sticking it into my old style fax machine right now.
There we go. Okay, I got it.